So yo, check it out, Mr. Williams here. We're gonna talk a little bit about our next culture group. I know a lot of you guys, when you watched the last video, you thought, oh, let's freeze it and look at Mr. Williams' funny face and take screenshots. So I thought I'd help you out and, I'd give you a few, I don't know, a few little funny faces for you to pause it and screen record or whatever. All right, so we have talked about the Gulf culture area of the Native Americans. So we still have the Plains, the Pueblo, and the Southeastern to talk about. Today we're going to talk about the Plains culture area. So the Plains culture area, that's going to be the Native Americans that you would think about maybe if you've seen some movies with Native Americans riding on horses, bow and arrows, chasing the buffalo and things like that. That's your Plains culture area. In Texas, these Plains culture is going to be out to our west, the Panhandle region, and then most of what's now West Texas. And then below that, you'll have the Pueblo. So you're not going to go too far south of the Plains, but it's mostly going to be west and then up into the Panhandle. And again, these are going to be nomads. We talked about that word. Nomad just means that they really didn't have a permanent home, a permanent establishment. They were always on the move. They were always following their food source. In this case, the Plains Indians are going to be following the buffalo. That's going to be their food sources. Now, in the beginning, Native Americans did not have horses. We talked briefly in class that horses and hogs, they are not native to the United States. They were brought over by the Spanish. So basically, the Spanish come over, they bring some horses with them. Some of these horses get loose, they go wild, they have babies, and then before you know it, you've got wild herds of horses roaming the United States. This is really going to help the Indians and the Native Americans because they're going to take these horses and now they have better transportation. They can chase the buffalo better. They can travel quicker. They can travel farther. So the horses are going to change the Native Americans' way of life greatly. And again, these Native Americans are going to live in teepees. You should be familiar with what a teepee is. It's like a hide that's held up by poles. And they're going to carry these teepees with them as they travel. Again, they're nomads. They're following the herds of buffalo. So talking about some of the different tribes, you're going to have the Apache. The Apache originally lived in what's now Canada. There's going to be two groups. There's the Lipan, and then there's the Mescalero. And both of these groups are going to eventually migrate on down into Texas. So the Lipans live from the western edge of the Texas Hill Country all the way down to the Rio Grande, and the Mescalero Apache are going to live more farther out west. The Apache are organized into different bands, so the Apache group is large, but then they've got these smaller groups that are kind of spread out throughout West Texas. Again, the Plains Indians are the ones, like I said, if you've seen movies of Native Americans, these are the ones that most movies base their Native American culture on. They're the ones that maybe raid white settlements, that live in teepees, that hunt the buffalo, that ride the horses, that have the bow and arrows. Your Comanche, your Apache. These are all Plains Indians. So those are probably the ones that you're going to be most familiar with. Comanche are also part of the Plains, like I said, and they're out in West Texas, or western part of Texas as well. The Comanche originally lived in the western part of the United States, but after trading with the Spanish for the horses and stuff, they're going to move on down into the Great Plains. The early 1700s, they're looking to escape some of these more powerful Great Plains Indians that they're always fighting with, and so they come on farther south into Texas. And when they get to Texas, then they're going to meet the Apache, and there's going to be some issues there. But for the most part, the Comanche and the Apache are the two most popular Plains Indians or Native Americans in Texas. The Comanche are going to attack other villages, destroy homes, steal animals, burn small farms. Again, this is the Native Americans that you see in movies. And it's not that the Comanche didn't have reason to do some of these things, for sure, because you had all these people moving in on their territory. The Comanche government is very well organized. The tribe has a peace and a war chief. The head peace chief was the most powerful tribe member. Leaders of the Comanche tribe were elected by their members, so it's kind of similar to what we have today. So they were very, very organized when it comes to their leadership. It wasn't just one person in charge, one chief in charge, and they voted on or elected who was to lead them. So it's kind of cool there. And the Tonkawa is another Plains tribe. They're going to live in the north central plains as well. Again, they're very similar to the Apache and the Comanche. They're going to depend on the buffalo for their food. But they're also going to hunt things like rabbits and rattlesnakes and skunks, and they're also going to be gatherers. They're hunter-gatherers. They're going to gather fruits and berries and nuts. Their climate, they're a little more south. They're the north central plains and the southeastern edge of the Edwards Plateau, which is down kind of close to Mexico. So that's why they're having to hunt rattlesnakes and stuff like that. It's not ideal for farming for any of these plains Indians, which is the reason that they're nomads. And then another tribe is the Kiowa. The Kiowa were the last plains group to arrive here in Texas, and just like the other ones that we just talked about, they hunt buffalo and they're nomads as well. So that is pretty much the Plains Indians. Key takeaways: the 4 Native American groups that belong to the Plains culture are going to be your Apache, your Comanche, your Tonkawa, and your Kiowa. And there's lots of interesting facts you can list about them. They're nomads for sure. They hunt the buffalo. They're always on the go. And then the other thing that you need to take away is that the arrival of the horses is greatly going to change the Plains Indians culture. It's going to help them. It's going to help them travel faster. It's going to help them hunt better. It's going to change their way of life, and it's going to allow them to be very successful for a while. So that is the Plains culture. So we've now talked about the Gulf culture and the Plains culture. So next time I see you, we will cover the other two, which is the Southeastern and the Pueblos. So hop on down there and answer those 3 questions below this, and I will see you guys next time.